SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Toyota Brookhaven services all makes and models. That could be why we were voted best service department the past 2 years. Come see why. Exit 40 Brookhaven or online at ToyotaBrookhaven.com. Great service, great savings. At Toyota Brookhaven, we deliver.
Your towns, your team, your source. That's Y'all Sports. I'm Cliff Furr, the Y'all and Y'all Sports, and this is Y'all Sports Radio. We come to you every week from the SuperTalk studio in downtown Brookhaven. Joined as always by my friend and co-host Brendan Shamatara. And before we get started, we've got to thank our awesome sponsors. You heard two of them there in the theme song. That's the Bank of Brookhaven and Toyota Brookhaven, along with Sam Ballard with Good Hope Land and Timber, Brendan Shamatara, State Farm Insurance, and our friends at Juan Seed Store. When you listen to this thing as a podcast, you do so thanks to our friends at Juan Seed Store, where it's more than a seed store. And Brandon, today we're already joined. Our guest is already in the studio with us, and who better to talk about high school football as we get ready for the 2026 season than our buddy Coach Tucker Peavey. Coach, thanks for making some time for us this morning.
I appreciate y'all having me, Cliff.
Yeah. So look, let's go ahead and jump into it, Coach, because you're a Brookhaven native. You graduated from Brookhaven High. What year did you graduate high school? Not to date you, but 1980. I heard you were a heck of an offensive lineman for the Panthers there. You went on and played at Colin afterwards. When did you know you wanted to be a football coach, Coach?
Honestly, that's all I ever remember wanting to do.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was, one of those deals where your coaches growing up, you kind of, looked up to them and thought, man, those guys got a pretty cool deal there. And so, I really never wavered from that.
We've talked about that a little bit, you and I, over the years. Give me the names of some of those guys that were big influences on you.
Oh, man, Coach C.O. Tanner at Alexander, and Bill Burt was the football coach at Alexander at the time, and Larry Thomas when I came to high school, and then Les Baumgartner and Don Coleman, and Butch, golly, I can't even remember the last name.
Butch Holmes.
Holmes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so
Tommy Goodson.
You were Tommy Goodson. Yeah, you were surrounded by good coaches, and that was back during a time where Alexander, you went to 9th grade all the way up to Alexander, right? And then you get over to the high school, and 10th, 11th, 12th grade were over there. And so you after Colin, where'd you finish up your undergrad at?
At Southern Miss.
At Southern Miss. And so did you get into coaching around that time, or did you finish your degree and then start coaching?
No, I mean, I stayed in football over there, and Coach Carmody, he really let me get involved in the program, even as a student and helping out. And, again, another one of those guys that influenced you in coaching. And, he allowed me to do a lot of things that, really helped me in coaching. And even was going to stay there with them as a grad assistant for a little while, but figured out I needed to go make a little money, and so got into high school ball.
Coach mentioning Coach Big Jim Carmody, Big Nasty himself. I got to meet him through his association with Colin. And you talk about a guy that just you shake his hand and like, hey, man, here is a guy who is a Mississippi legend for the things that he did in his career. That'd be a great one to learn under in Hattiesburg. Had some great teams there. So, yeah, you got into high school. Where was your first high school job at, Coach?
It was at Petal.
Okay.
Petal High School, Petal Junior High, Petal High School.
Okay. And so you weren't there long, though, before you got in the college game, were you?
No, I always kind of had that itch that's what I wanted to do. And then, decided to go be a grad assistant, and was afforded the opportunity at a few places, and, chose to go to LSU at that time, and ended up being there for 3 years.
Tell me again, remind me who you worked for at LSU, Coach.
Mike Archer was, when it all first started, Bill Arnsparger was the head coach.
That's right.
So by the time I got there, it was Mike Archer was the coach, and he had a good run there. Typical LSU, it didn't last really long, but it was good for a while.
Yeah, I remember the end of Mike Archer's tenure, there being some controversy there. I think somebody was spying on him or something like that. Boy, what is it about Baton Rouge that just generates the headlines?
It's just it's such a passionate environment. And with all good places, the expectations are high.
Yeah.
And but I'm gonna tell you this: I'll never forget that day or two surrounding that and the things that went on, and it was almost like being in a movie every day.
I imagine what that feels like to be there now. I mean, right now Lane Kiffin is looking up NFL players that that haven't played in a game yet. Brandon, I mean, who's next?
I started to make a post out the other day and say, listen, I'm willing to put my insurance business on hold and go back. And then I started moving, and my back started aching. No, I'm good, brother.
Yeah, you got a little eligibility left, but I don't think they're looking for you, brother. They're looking for those fringe NFL players. And so look, you we're talking with Coach Tucker Peavey. You were at LSU, and then you stayed in Louisiana, right, for your next job.
Yeah, well, I was at Itawamba for a year.
Okay,
and then moved back to Louisiana and coached high school ball down there a couple of years, and then got back into the college thing. And for the next 10, 11, 12 years was in college ball in Louisiana.
Yeah, you were at Louisiana Lafayette and Louisiana Monroe,
correct,
right, in your career?
That wasn't the name of them at that time,
right.
But yeah.
Northeastern.
Yeah, Northeast
Louisiana.
And USL.
USL, that's right. Man, why they got to change stuff that sounds cool? I have no idea.
I think it was a political move.
Yeah, talking about your high school time, were you at Parkview Baptist? Is that where you were at?
No, I was at Episcopal High
School.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I know you were at a private school down there. So you wind up. I'll never forget hearing that you got the Pearl River job. That was the job that kind of first brought you into. Even though I grew up in Brookhaven, I heard that you had gotten the Pearl River job, and that was a big deal. And you were down there. Was it post Katrina, or were you there during Katrina, Coach?
No, that was 2000. Well, it would have been the spring of 2002.
Yeah,
I was only there for a spring because of the way things happened here in Brookhaven, and I was ready to come back home.
That's right. And it was big news. It was a big headline. Brandon, the Daily Leader back then, was churning out. Tom Getz was writing stories, and he wrote a story and said, "Hey, Tucker Peavey is coming home." Nice. Coach Peavey comes back and he takes over at Brookhaven High School. What year was that, Coach?
2002 was the first football season.
So when you first coached that team in 2002, are you looking at the group that you've got, looking at the underclassmen you've got, and thinking to yourself like, "Hey, this is a state championship program"?
Well, not so much that. After being in college ball for so long, it took a little while to get back. I don't know whether you want to call it acclimated. Obviously, you knew the good players because you had recruited and all that stuff. But the whole team picture, and I knew that we had a bunch of 10th graders that were really good players.
Yep.
I mean, good prospects anyway, and you thought they could be good players. And from the day that I started and the first time that we had a meeting, my question to them was, and if you look back over history, you go down to Independence, Louisiana. You come all the way up 55, and people winning state championships.
That's right.
Mississippi, Macomb, South Pike,
yes,
and so forth. And so at the time, Lawrence County had won one.
That's right. Danny Adams.
And so my question was, why not us?
Yeah.
And so that was the objective from day one. That there's got to be a reason why, and we got to figure it out.
We've been talking a lot about the 2005 team. We had Shannon Aker on last week as our guest, and he cited that as his favorite memory in all his years of covering Brookhaven High football. And I was telling Brandon's from Batesville, but he knew about that team because you guys were on the front cover of the Clarion Ledger's football section. A lot of expectations that going into that season, but it just felt like those guys were kind of made for that moment, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I think that and you can tell as a coach whenever you have a group that is very focused on something, and they believed that they could win it, and I think every day that was on their mind. It wasn't, even though nobody had done it from here before, they still believed that they could do it. And of course, I tried to encourage that and talked about it all the time, and But yeah, whenever you again started as a bunch of sophomores and had some good surrounding players with them, and honestly, in 2003, we were as good a team then as we were in 04. Mm-hmm. We just some competition. It was crazy back in those days with Wayne County and West Jones and Picayune but anyway, they did. I mean, they were on a mission, and I think it was just nothing was going to get in the way.
When I think about those Wayne County and those West Jones team, Coach, the thing that just always sticks out in my mind is the closing speed of the defense. It would look like, there's a hole, a play's going to develop. Mm-hmm. And the next thing you know, a linebacker just shoots in like a rocket and shuts that thing down. It was football played on fast forward, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was just a bunch of talented guys. I think if you look back, if it was us and West Jones or us and Wayne County or them two in Picayune, somebody that came to watch that game was going to see, 4, 5, 6 future SEC players, on the field at one time, and you just don't see that as much anymore.
Yeah. It was it was an awesome time to be a high school football fan. I was a huge fan. I mean, I graduated high school in 2000, but it became appointment viewing for everybody to come back and to see those teams as it was building towards 2005. One thing that I always, just respected about the program that you built there at Brookhaven High, Coach, was you took the things that you learned in college as far as organization and meetings and things like that, and you really brought it to the high school level. Talk to me about the assistant coaches that you had work for you over the years, because, man, I'd always tell everybody, nobody puts in the hours like a Tucker Peavey assistant coach.
Well, I mean, let me go back and say this. I think all of this revolves around other people.
Yeah.
In other words, I'll be honest with you, my wife probably motivated me to be a good coach more than anything, just because of her sacrifice, of us and our family and time and what have you to get there. And so same thing with coaches. It's about, to me, it was about surrounding yourself with good people, players, coaches, administration, and being fortunate to be able to do that. And so as a result, we had coaches that were very passionate about Brookhaven, about football, and about seeing kids do well.
Yeah.
And I think that's as, I've told people before, a lot of times if I was trying to hire a coach, I didn't really care what X's and O's they were. I want to know what kind of people they were. And we'll figure the other stuff out as we go. So, hopefully it was a good combination, and it seemed to have worked quite a bit of the time.
So many of those guys are guys that I consider friends now. Mike Powell and Coach Patrick Hardy, and our superintendent of education, who's been a guest on the show, Rod Henderson. And just thinking about, I was in the field house one time, and I was looking at Mike's desk, and it was just absolutely immaculate. And I said, and all the assistant coaches were immaculate. And I said to Mike, I said, y'all keep y'all's desk clean around here. And he's like, oh, yeah, man. He's like, go look at Coach Peavey's desk. He said, that's what our desks are supposed to look like. He said, mine's actually a little bit dirty right now. Brandon, was that like what the desks were like when you were coaching at North Delta Academy?
No, not at all. We're just kind of holding on, and, something's under that folder over there. I feel like I might need it.
Well, look, man, I go around and I visit everybody's field houses and stuff like that, and there are times where I see stuff that just kind of looks like a hurricane hit it, and I think to myself, like, man, you gotta have a little bit of organization. You can't have the weights piled up in the middle of the floor.
And we talk about the little things all the time, and I think Coach and all of his, the great work he's done over the years. I mean, that's, the little things, man. Coach, keep your desk clean. And guess what? He's leading by example as well. And so if you're not going to keep your coach clean, how are you going to ask your players to keep a locker clean and a locker room clean?
When it comes to the prep of it, Coach, was that your favorite part of it? Preparing the game plan, preparing the practice plan all week, dialing up the sessions, knowing these are the things we need to work on in the film. Was that one of your favorite parts of the job?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly one of the favorites, because you're kind of developing a theory or developing a plan, and then you get to go see if it works. I've told people a lot, and this is strange, but I enjoyed spring practice, though, more than I did the season because it was more about coaching. It wasn't game planning and, scheduling trips and all that. It was just going out there and working on and playing football.
And you get to see the young bucks evolve in that moment. The young ones, when they get out there to practice, they got kind of a deer in the headlight look, and then you start to see them over time, and that look goes away, and they start to feel a little more confident, and you're like, all right, we got one here. He's starting to figure it out, and then next thing you know, they're helping your team come the fall.
Yeah, and I mean, you can generally tell there's a play where all of a sudden that guy said, you know what, I can do this.
Ding, 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 ding. I mean? The light bulb, you can almost see it go off.
Yeah, and that's a cool thing to see because you literally see kids at this age, especially in high school, that, whenever they're some of them 14 years old, I guess, or maybe even 13 coming from Alexander, probably not quite that young. Yeah. But, I mean, you think, oh, my goodness, this guy will never be able to play. And then all of a sudden 2 years later, he's out there every snap.
Yeah. And Coach, that was the thing about that made me so confident in the fact that the Panthers were going to win the championship last year was I got to see the now seniors when they were eighth graders, and they were special. They just weren't beating people. They were beating people 35-0 every time they stepped out on the field. And we'll talk about your decision to step away and what's been going on with you more recently here when we get back. And when we get back, we'll also get into that 2008 team and the special memories from that season, and also your time spent in Summit at Southwest Community College. We got a lot of stuff we could talk about with our buddy Coach Tucker Peavey when we come back next on Y'all Sports Radio. Don't go anywhere.
Looking for the perfect, unique gift? Visit Juan Seed Store at 636 Greenview Trail in Brookhaven. Discover our stunning waxed amaryllis bulbs. Simply place and watch them grow. Soy lotion candles from Waveland Candle Company provide an eco-friendly clean burn and provide a moisturizing scented lotion when burning. Sippy Scents out of Pearl has created the most intense fragrances for detergents, cleaners, room sprays, and oils. Shop these selections and more today at Juan Seed Store.
Trust the experts at Good Hope Land and Timber, your full-service land and timber company with years of experience in forestry and land management. From land and timber purchasing, timber management, plantation thinning, and development harvesting, our team handles it all. Our experienced logging force is trained to the highest standards under the Sustainable Forestry Initiative and best management practices. Call Sam Ballard today at 601-669-5999. Good Hope Land and Timber, locally trusted, landowner approved.
All right, we're back on Y'all Sports Radio. I'm Cliff Burr, the Y'all and Y'all Sports, joined as always by my friend and co-host Brandon Shamataro. We got Coach Tucker Peavey with us. And Brandon, here's a little quick aside. Coach Peavey is a friend of mine. He's somebody I have a lot of respect for. He's also given me my first real big boy job. When I got out of college, I couldn't find a job teaching and coaching. And my daddy is a logger. I'd love to say he's a retired logger, but he's not. He's still getting 4 or 5 loads a day of pulpwood. And so my dad was doing Hurricane Katrina cleanup, and we had cleaned up Macomb, and then we were down and we were in Waveland, and it was after the gnats had really set in. There was so much dead vegetation everywhere, and we were in Waveland. We were picking up there at Ground Zero, and man, there was so much debris, and there were so many gnats. I was standing out in the middle of the road. I had on mosquito netting over a hard hat. I had a sign in my hand that said "Stop on one side, slow on the other." And my daddy had a loader, and I would get in the truck and I'd pull the loader up, and then I would stand out and I would flag traffic. My cell phone rings. It's my buddy Terry Reed, and he said, "Cliffy," he said, "you want to be a basketball coach, don't you?" And I said, "I do." And he said, "And you teach English?" And I said, "And I do." And he said, "You need to call Tucker Peavey. He needs a basketball coach that can teach English." And I said, "I will call him right now." And I did. And Coach Peavey gave me my first coaching job, and it led me to being there at Brookhaven 2 years. And as a kid that grew up at Brookhaven Academy, I didn't know what a great school Brookhaven High was.
How fast did you throw down the hat and the net?
Quick and in a hurry. Quick in a hurry. And I went back after I interviewed with Coach and I got hired. I went back down and worked a little bit more because I had some bills to pay. It's one of those times where you look back on your life and you say, how did we make it on the money that we made? But we somehow did. Coach, I bet you do that sometimes. I've had some of my coaching friends that have been in it for a long time. They talk about their first coaching salary was just
mine was so long ago that it was. If you think about it now, you couldn't do it anymore.
I heard Kirby Smart the other day on an interview with Marty and McGee, and he said, my first year coaching, and I got my first salary, and he said, that was the best time of my life. I was single. I didn't have any bills. They put me up in a dorm room, and he's like, I had plenty of money. I thought I'd hit the lottery. So, but that's just perspective. Single guy has.
That's right. That's right. I wasn't single at that time, and when I told my wife, I said, I got a job at BHS. I'm the assistant basketball coach. I'm going to teach junior senior English there. I said, I'm so excited. I said, I'm going to be able to get health insurance again. She said, what? I said, I haven't been paying my health insurance. She said, you didn't tell me. I said, well, it was either health insurance or cell phones. So I just been real careful for the prior 3 or 4 months. Look, Coach Peavey, I was saying earlier, we were talking during the break, I was saying in 05 and then 04, obviously that was the state championship team. But then in 2010, you guys had a run to the state championship that was very memorable. You go on the road, you win some games. The game that stands out in that one was you beat West Jones in the playoffs after they had just absolutely smacked you in the regular season. That's a team that holds a special place in your heart as well, right?
There's a lot of reasons for that. My son was a senior that year, and so, I had really known all those boys for a long time. Several of them were actually ball boys on the state 04 state championship team. So their pictures are up there in the weight room and that thing, that big photograph we have in the weight room still. But, it was a special deal. It was a struggle. We were just bombarded with injuries through the middle part of the season. And so when we played Wayne County and West Jones early in the district play, we were limping. We didn't have a quarterback. We were playing a third guy at quarterback, and we had several starters out. But we started to get those guys back, and they were a team like this team in the sense that Alexander, they won all their games.
That's right.
They were a good bunch of athletes and a good bunch of players, and so luckily, we got them back quick enough to win down the stretch and make it into the playoffs. And then, from there, it was a lot of magic happening each week.
It did. It felt like the whole town was just kind of rolling with you guys as you pick up win after win. You make it to the state championship team. State championship game, wound up facing West Point, and boy, it felt good to beat West Point last year in the state championship, didn't it, Coach?
Yeah, because I'll go to my grave saying this: if our quarterback hadn't gotten hurt that night, we'd have beat them that year.
Yeah.
But we lost our quarterback there. I don't know, midway of the first quarter or whatever, and he tried to come back, but just it was a crazy injury, and but again, I still say we'd have won that one had he not gotten hurt.
Who was the quarterback?
DeJuan Harris.
Okay.
DeJuan Harris, great athlete, just a guy that could run and do a lot of things with his legs and throw his arm. Great athlete. Look, that's one thing that I think fans and parents and folks that are excited about football because we've got started up and this time of year, but they don't think about how injuries can keep a coach up at night, right? Just injuries that happen in practice. Most high school teams, they don't have the depth to have another quarterback on their roster or another left tackle on their roster. Is that part of the job you probably don't miss, Coach?
Yeah, that's the stressful part of it. Yeah. Like I say, that year in 2010, it was very difficult during that time because you're trying to keep the attitudes right, even though it's hard to do because you're not winning on Friday night because you know that if you get everybody back, you got a chance. But if you go at it with a bad attitude, you'll never come back. Yeah. And so, that was the biggest challenge. And, and for any team to make it all the way, there's some luck involved. Yeah, well, it may not be luck. They got good fortune. They don't get hurt. There's
the ball's got to bounce away.
You know, something's going to happen along the way where the ball kind of, you know, as you said, bounces your way and things work out for you. But you got to earn it and you got to be good and all that stuff. But you do have to be a little fortunate too.
Well, look, in 2024, you know, I'd love to have played West Point that season as well. That was your last season, and your last game happens to be a South State loss down at Gaucher in a super, super close game. I wrote about it that night for the Daily Leader. I talked about how my kids they were there in the student section. They were so excited. And then there was just this feeling of when everybody was walking back to their car, everybody was just kind of shell-shocked a little bit, just kind of quiet. And we go to a Waffle House. I'm trying to write a game story for the paper quickly, and all these Gaucher fans are coming in, and it's just like, man, we were right there. We were so close.
Well, you won the game, and then you lost it.
Yeah. I mean, it was
with the field goal, right?
Yeah. We missed.
He missed it both times.
He missed. I thought he made it.
But the amount of time that the ref spent talking to the Gaucher staff was insane. It was just it was kind of a wild scene right there at the end. You didn't know that was going to be your last game as a head coach at Brookhaven High at that time, did you?
No, not really. No, I didn't know. I mean, obviously the thought had come up along the way, and but at that point in time, no, there was no decision made, and it was a while after that before. You know, that's a hard thing to do. It's you know, people think, well, it's just part of the evolution of life and this, that, and the other. But, you know, there's a lot of things that go into it. Just like today, I still find myself today at different times of the day thinking, what am I doing here? I'm supposed to be on the practice field. You know, it's Sunday afternoon. I'm supposed to be at the field house meeting or,
watching
you know,
some
that
film,
type of
getting the script ready.
Yeah, you know, that kind of thing. So I hadn't got over it yet, but I've been very fortunate. One of my best friend growing up, you know, has a construction business, and I've been able to work with him. And I need to put a plug in. If somebody needs a metal building, they're the company to do it.
Well, and if you haven't played or coached at a high level, you don't really get it because that routine that you're used to week in and week out, I mean, everything's scripted from by the hour, especially in college, and you implemented that so well in high school. But, I mean, you got somewhere to be at 1 o'clock, and then when you roll off of that and you hang your whistle up, it's like, oh man.
See, that's been the biggest adjustment for me. You know, working with Malcolm and Cupid Contractors is that, you know, a lot of times I don't know what I'm doing today. You know, and my life, as you said, I could tell you what I would be doing Thursday at 3 o'clock 6 weeks from now.
Yeah.
You know, and so. That's taken a little bit of getting used to, but like I say, I'm very fortunate to be able to do it, and I'm enjoying it.
When I heard that you were retiring, I came over to your office. We talked in the field house, and you know, obviously we got so close in 2024. We knew we had everything coming back in 2025, and you said, Cliff, if it was about the team, then I would never feel like this is a team that I could leave on. This is a team that I could leave on, because I would always be thinking like, well, look what this group could do, or what that group could do. But you said when it's about your family, that just kind of overrides everything else. And it was a chance for you to go to Louisiana and watch your grandsons play. They play at Tioga. You have one grandson graduate last year, correct? You have one that's a senior this year?
One that's a senior this year.
What's it been like being Pawpaw in the stands for you, Coach?
Oh, it's a whole lot more relaxing than it is standing on the sideline. Yeah, chasing the granddaughter around and sitting in a lawn chair and doing that kind of thing. So, yeah, it's a whole lot more relaxing.
Yeah, and you get a sausage dog. How are the sausage dogs in Central Louisiana?
They're pretty good.
Pretty good.
Popcorn's good.
Yeah.
Probably get you some boudin.
Well, we used to go somewhere else over there to get that, not the ballpark.
Yeah. So that's what you're doing now. Do you? I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot or something, but do you think maybe one day you'll coach again, or do you think you've just closed that chapter of your life?
No, I wouldn't say it's closed.
Yeah.
You know, now I don't have any specific plans to, but it's still enough a part of me and still something that I miss that, you know, if the right situation came along, then, yeah, I would certainly consider it.
And if you're listening, you don't see Coach's mannerisms in here. When you talk about getting back in, he starts moving around a little funny like that. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, just real quick, Coach, so like you, I hung my whistle up at some point, and I pulled it back out this year. And now you're looking at the head football coach at Brookhaven Academy, first and second grade flag football. And Coach, listen,
good luck to you.
On Thursday at 5:30, you can meet us right out by Farm Belt, and I got an extra whistle for you. Just come out there and help me.
Y'all just got some green space
That might
out
be
there.
fun.
Yeah.
No, listen, I got lines painted. Hey, we're not gonna halfway do this,
That's
brother.
right.
I got lines
Farm
painted.
Belt. They got equipment out
There you
there.
go.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think anybody that knows you, Coach Peavey, knows that that you're called to coach. You've been called to coach, and when that calling is on your life, it isn't something you can do another job. Ryan Ross, who coached under you, Ryan and I talked about, he got out of it for a little bit, and he thought he had a job lined up at a ship building place down on the coast, and it wound up getting pulled out from under him, and he did construction, sprayed bugs, did some things to make it work. But he's a football coach. You're a football coach, and I know that the thing that you love about the job is, and Shannon talked about this last week when he was on with us, is you get the calls from the former players when they're going through their big moments in life. You make those connections, and those are lifelong. When you have a young man say, "Hey, you believed in me in a way that nobody else did," that's better than drugs to me, Coach. Would you agree with that?
No doubt. I mean, it was a thrill, an enjoyment. Look forward to it. Whenever you knew that some of the former players are going to be back because it was homecoming or whatever the case might be, and they coming by the field house or they just show up. I'm at Perkins Hardware, and I see guys that coached in the years past and that type thing, and it just, again, it's satisfying, and you hope that all of the players feel that way.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the main goal. It doesn't always work that way, but you certainly hope it would.
Well, it doesn't always work that way in the moment. But I played high school basketball for a guy named Dale Watts. He wasn't the most warm and fuzzy guy on the block, but when you look back and you say, "Hey, this guy tried to make us into men," and that was something that was very important for you. I'll never forget. I was out for the newspaper. I was watching you practice one day, and you were on a soapbox that. Coach Henderson told us is a soapbox that you often got on, and this was your words. You said, "Boys, you got to make sure when you use that toilet, you flush that thing before you come out here." You said nobody in your life, not your mama, nobody was made to do that behind you. That's what you were supposed to do. And so when Coach Henderson was on with us, he said that 04 team, Jesse Bowman decided that he was going to make somebody stay behind and flush every toilet before they hit the field. That, like Brandon said earlier, that's little things, but man, if you stress to them that's important, they're going to make it important for them, right?
Well, yeah, and I mean, it's attention to details. I mean, to me, that's the bottom line in it, is that if it's hard to be something part-time and be good at it. Yeah. It really is, no matter what it is. And, it's just like now I'm finally into a hobby that I've always wanted to be involved in, trying to do a little woodworking stuff, and I mean, and I just want to be real good at it. I think it's that pressure of perfection from coaching that I miss that I apply, in that. I mean, if you miss it just a little bit, it just don't look right.
It's therapeutic too. You get in there and
as long as I can keep all my fingers and all that stuff.
That's right. That's important. Who are some of those guys that you coached against or coached with over years? I know you and Steve Buckley were friends a long time. Is Coach Buckley still coaching, right?
He started back helping at Columbia.
Yep. Yeah. And Scott Pearson is a friend of yours as well.
I talked to Scott about a week ago.
Yeah, and he's back at West Jones.
That's right.
There was a real fraternity of those guys. You and Marcus Broyles, y'all competed against each other, but at the same time, a lot of mutual respect, right?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of hey, this is going on. What do you think? Or hey, how y'all running this? That kind of thing. And so I mean, it was a great relationship. Those were good football coaches, and the difference is they're still doing it, and I'm not.
well, I thought one of the most special things about being in the stadium last year in Starkville and seeing the joy on the guy's face when the championship final buzzer went off, and so many of them coming over and giving you meaningful hugs.
Yeah.
And when I saw a guy like Jeremy Bibbs, who throughout the course of his career, you worked hard to keep him pointed in the right direction with his emotions, and a guy like Kadero McDaniel that you threw out there as a ninth grader, Jaden Allen, you threw him out there as a ninth grader, sink or swim at a 5A program. Man, even though you weren't calling the plays, it was a great night for the Peavey family, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you enjoyed watching it. As a coach, you can never say, well, this team is going to win the state championship. We should win a state championship. No, you got the potential to. I mean, again, a lot of things have to line up just right. And honestly, you would never say this when you were coaching, but in my heart, I believe that, we had a chance to win 3 years in a row with that group of kids from 24, 25, and 26, being there. And even the year before, I felt like that if we got past Laurel that, we would have a chance to make a run at it. So, that they did it and did it extremely well, and they did it kind of easy, too.
They did. I'll never forget asking Jaden after the game. He said on that touchdown where he just weaved through there, he said, I wasn't even running hard. I was like, well, buddy, I've seen you run hard. I believe that.
Yeah, no, it was definitely exciting. And I'll say this forever, minus a couple of turnovers, that was a beatdown in the state championship. I thought they handled the business.
Yeah, I think they handled
through and through. Yeah. All right, Coach, got some rapid-fire questions for you. You ready? All right. This is a special segment on this show. We don't have a sponsor for it, but if you're listening and you want to sponsor the rapid fire segment, call Cliff.
That's right.
All right, Coach, here we go. First thing you miss about coaching?
The players.
Yep. One thing you absolutely do not miss about coaching?
Washing clothes.
You mean you didn't delegate that later in your career?
Yeah,
Coach?
but I took my turn every week, too.
Well, that's leadership, baby. I love it. All right, best player you ever coached?
Oh, man, that is hard.
Now, you got a lot of college. Let's keep this in the high school ranks.
Boy, I'm going to get in trouble with this one. Well, I mean, you got to go back to the Jimmy Johns and Jesse Bowman and those days. I mean, those guys were just so dominant. And but there's been others through the years that may not have won a state championship, but they were, really good players. So it's really hard for me to pick that.
2004 state championship team, first word that comes to mind?
Compete.
How hard was it to walk away knowing how much talent you had coming back?
Extremely.
When did you realize the 2025 Panthers had a legitimate shot to win it all?
Back when they were eighth graders, again, 3 years ago, you could see it coming, and the big thing is you got to try to keep them all there.
Yeah.
The 2010 team, we had two players coming from Alexander that before their ninth grade year was over, they had moved. And they both played Division I college football wherever they were.
Oh, my goodness.
And, that was out of anybody's control.
And I just want to add, I got to see this firsthand. The year that the seniors were eighth graders, we went 1-9. Again, one of those seasons where everything that could go wrong did go wrong. You guys started working for the next season the next Monday. You started busting those eighth graders over, and you said compete. They were coming back to class, and they were saying, man, they got us, two of us grabbing hold of a tire and seeing which one could jerk the other one down. Man, they got us doing this. They got us doing everything was a competition, and, man, it brought it all home to them. Like, hey, there's work that's going to be done when we get to BHS.
Hey, this is my segment.
Okay.
I'm almost done. Hey, what did Coach Dorsey do best while taking over the program?
Well, I mean, again, goes back to what I said a long time ago in the show here. It's about being good people first.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what's made him what he is. Certainly he's a great technician. He's going to spend the time, look at track. Look at what he was able to do in track and what have you. So, I just think I think he's done a great job of doing some things that we were doing, but also – mixing himself in there.
Yeah.
And I knew he would.
And so in my of course, I've been here for over 5 years now, and been following you guys. Followed you, and of course, while you were still coaching. And one thing I can definitely tell, especially on this 25 team, is that your DNA is just all over the coaches, and it's all over the players, and even the fans. I mean, they were used to certain things that you implemented over time, and that's just a testament to you. Last question, Coach. When you look back 20 years from now at Tucker Peavey and Brookhaven Panther football, what do you hope that they remember?
That we were trying to be good people, and whenever they think of it or the thought or something comes up about it, that it's a positive response and a positive feeling. And, I think because I think over time the championships kind of get forgotten until somebody brings them up. So if it's just a incidental interaction with it, then the first thing you're going to think about is, how did it make me feel? Yeah. And, hopefully that's what turns out.
Yeah. Man, that's good stuff. Yeah. That's good stuff. If you've just joined us, we have had Coach Tucker Peavey on Y'all Sports Radio today. Coach, man, I could listen to you talk about the game and what it's meant to you for another hour. And he's with Malcolm Cupid right now. They're doing metal buildings, but I don't think anybody needs to write Tucker Peavey off when it comes to coaching football. He has poured into a lot of young men's lives over the years, and I can see that picking back up maybe later on down the road, even if it's flag football.
Hiring Cliff was another one of those things where I didn't have a clue about basketball, didn't know nothing about basketball. And, when somebody would apply for a job, I usually didn't look at the reference list. Yeah. Because, the guy's an idiot if he puts somebody on there that's not going.
I don't look at references.
So I'm trying to find some other people who know this guy.
Yeah.
And I did not know Cliff, but the feedback that I got, again, nothing to do with basketball, just as a person. So, to me, that was a no-brainer.
Hey, if Terry Reed's your hero growing up,
I wouldn't trust Terry. I wouldn't trust Terry.
There's something wrong with you. Hey, that's Coach Tucker Peavey. We're going to come back for one more quick segment on Y'all Sports Radio next.
Exciting news, Brookhaven. Juan Seed Store has a fresh start under new ownership. Meet Guy and Paige Nelson, who are thrilled to welcome you to our fabulous new location at 636 Greenview Trail. At Juan Seed Store, we're not just about seeds. Discover a wide range of top-quality feed, seed, and everything you need for your outdoor adventures. Explore our expanded selection of gardening essentials, pet supplies, and outdoor gear. It's a whole new experience waiting for you. Juan Seed Store, more than just a seed store. Visit us today and see the difference at 636 Greenview Trail in Brookhaven.
Good Hope Land and Timber is a full-service land and timber company that offers years of experience in forestry and land management. Our services include timber and land purchasing, timber management, plantation thinning, and development harvesting. Our company has an experienced logging force that is trained according to the Sustainable Forestry Initiative and best management practices. Give Sam Ballard a call at 601-669-5999 for all your timber harvesting and land management needs.
All right, y'all, we're back on Y'all Sports Radio. Brandon, that was great, man. Tucker Peavey is a hero of mine, and I got to see it up close when I was an assistant basketball coach there at BHS. They just don't get much better, do they?
Oh, man. Coach Peavey is the kind of coach that I wish that I'd worked under early in my career. Now, the side of that will be I may still be coaching football.
Yeah. For real.
And so, but hey, the Lord works in mysterious ways, and I'm just blessed to be able to spend some time with Coach Peavey over the years and just get to know him, man. And he's like a lot of our guests, Cliff. They're just better people than coaches, and I think that's what is in the DNA of a great coach. You're just a solid man and just standing up for the right things, doing the right thing all the time, and just leading by example. And so anytime we have somebody like Coach Peavey, especially Coach Peavey, just makes me want to be a little bit better man, to be honest with you.
Yeah, without a doubt. He conducts himself, holds a certain standard as assistant coaches. When you're around a championship program, when you're around a championship coach, it doesn't take long for you to figure out this is what makes them champions. And I'm a huge fan, always will be. I do not think he's done coaching. Like you said, shout out to Miss Leanne, who is a championship teacher. His wife, she has taught so many champions at the Polymer Science program there at the Brookhaven Technical Center. It was just as good as he's been at football. She's been that good as a teacher. So it's been a lot really cool to see that throughout my life.
Something stuck out with me, man. I've never heard a coach say this before, but when he said, because of the sacrifice that Leanne and the children made with me being away, it made me want to be a better coach, to put the product on the field, do the best I could at my job. Man, that I got chill bumps hearing that, because that's a man that loves his wife and kids and knows that every second that he's away that that's time away from them. So he needs to make the most of the opportunity where his boots are.
No doubt. Look, if you're looking for high school football action this week, where you're listening to this on Wednesday, you got a lot of options. Copiah Lincoln Community College is going to host Mississippi Delta on Thursday. Should be a great crowd in Stone Stadium. If you didn't know, the junior college teams are playing a 10-game regular season this year for the first time. For the first time in a long time. No semifinals, just a championship between the number one team in the South and the number one team in the North. Brookhaven High is going to be over at Lawrence County. That's where I will be. I'll be in Wesson on Thursday. I'll be at Brookhaven at Lawrence County watching the Panthers on Friday. Brookhaven Academy is at Silliman Institute. Lloyd Star is hosting Perry Central. Franklin County is at North Pike, where they're unveiling a new football stadium down there. Park Lane Academy is going to Prep, a team they beat last year in a really memorable game to start the season off. Wesson is at Bogachita with a good local matchup there. Enterprise is hosting North Forest, and West Lincoln is, I believe, at Richton. So, look, we're y'all sports, a big thing for us is Friday nights, right? The Friday Night Lights. It's where I feel like we do our best work, really. And so, Brandon, last week, Brookhaven Academy in Bowling Green got rained out by one of those crazy storms that comes along on a Friday night, almost like the Lord doesn't love football there for a minute, the way that happens every year. Yeah. And I didn't get to go to a game. I didn't go to a game Friday, and I didn't go to a game Saturday. And part of that was because I was dealing with some stuff that's just not fun. And it's not anything like major, like personal. Like, don't hear me say that like my health or my family or anything or dealing with any hard times, because actually when you go through real hard times in life, it makes hard times in our hobbies, because that's what y'all sports is for me. It's a hobby that I'm just crazily passionate about. We go through hard times in our hobbies, it just kind of makes it like, this isn't life or death, but it is just a little inconvenience. Look,
bummer, just a bummer.
Yeah, just a bummer. Look, if you've been following along, you've been part of this ride with us, I feel like if you're listening to us right now, you're a hardcore y'all star. I've had some issues with Meta. I've had some issues with Facebook. I've had some issues with connectivity, okay? And it all started back in April when I fought off a hack attack from I woke up one morning and my phone said somebody was trying to get into my Facebook, and they did briefly, but I did everything that I was supposed to do, and I got them out. But the best phrase that I could use to describe it is, since then, it's felt like there was a ghost in the machine the whole time. My posts looked different. I would sometimes say, Cliff Furr posted this, and I'd be like, Cliff Furr posted this. No, duh. Who else could have posted this, And so, man, I just want to tell you something. If you have a business that uses Meta, I have a cousin named Ryan Burt. He's got Magnolia Digital Solutions is his company, and he gave me a good word. But Brandon, have you ever gotten good advice that you didn't listen to? He gave me a good word. He said, "Don't put all your eggs in a Meta basket." Yeah. And so I just need here's what I need, Brandon. I need the folks that have supported me, and I have had amazing support in the last calendar year. I need you just to be watching for announcement I'm going to put on Facebook on Thursday, just telling you how you can help y'all sports as we keep continuing to do the two main goals. The two main goals are always this: shine a light on the kids and have fun. And when you're dealing with stuff like, I've lost access to the day that I find out that we've crossed the 20,000 follower threshold, And now I'm completely locked out. Look, when I tell you this weekend, Brandon, that I wasn't watching high school football, I wasn't watching anything other than my computer screen, this is how deep of a dive that I got into trying to troubleshoot this problem. I had multiple conversations with real human beings who work for Meta. Now, if you Google that, they'll tell you that's impossible. But here's what you got to do. You got to pay them to talk to them.
Pay to play.
You got to pay them to talk to them. And I did that because it was so important to me. But look, when Y'all Sports started last year, we started just in August of last year, I didn't know it was going to take off the way it did. And if I could go back, I'd redone some things, like when they say, oh, I built a house. I never built a house before. If I built another one, I'd do this or different. And so, you had an office in Brookhaven in a different location than this office. Yep. So the Y'all Sports office might be moving, but we're still going to be Y'all Sports, and we're still going to be Y'all Sporting on Friday nights.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, we'll stay tuned for Thursday and the big announcement. And it's news to me. I don't even know the announcement, so I'll be looking forward as well. But, hey, listen, I told you this Sunday at church when you shared what was going on. Man, the people in these 5 counties, they love and appreciate everything that you do. And, man, if it means creating a new page, y'all jump on board. Go hit like, follow, share, just like you did in the beginning. I don't know. And again, I don't know.
I've got more Saints tickets ready to give away. I've got more merch ready to give away. I've learned real quick that if and look, I had a friend offer me 2 Saints tickets to give away to the season opener, Brandon. And there's nothing like a Saints season opener, because during that time you still have hope that they're going to possibly be good. You give Saints tickets away. I gave Saints tickets away twice last year. I gave some away early in the year and late in the year. Yeah. Your response late in the year, especially when Spencer Rattler was a quarterback, they were at the Rouse's in New Orleans. They were giving away Saints tickets with the purchase of avocados. So I think the Saints are going to be better this year. I got that. I've got merch that we've been working on. Look, it's a train. It's rolling. We're going to keep Y'all Sports rolling. Just sometimes you have to learn lessons the hard way, and you have to, like I said before, you can hear people say things like, hey, maybe you need to put another admin on that page, but you don't not do it because you're being bullheaded. You just think you're just busy running around chasing the next story. And
if something comes up, I'll figure it out. Well, this is a big figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. But, one thing that I always try to do is just put things into perspective. And, it's not life or death. It's not anything. I've seen people who've gone through similar things, and they posted videos and they cried and they came back bigger and better than ever. Maybe when I sit down in front of a camera, maybe you'll see some crocodile tears, but I really doubt it, because it isn't.
If you cry, I'm not sharing.
No.
If you're saying something meaningful about your family, let's go.
Yeah. It's nothing to cry about. It's just sports. It's Y'all Sports. This is Y'all Sports Radio. Can't thank our sponsors enough for making it happen. If you missed any of it, listen to our podcast with Coach Tucker Peavey. Until next time, I will actually see you on the sidelines of Southwest Mississippi.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.